Welcome to Howard's Opinion, the podcast where we dive into the world of sports and explore the latest developments, trends, and controversies. I'm your host, Howard, and I'm excited to share my thoughts and insights with you today. We're starting off with a fascinating story from the NFL, where Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow is hell-bent on returning to the field despite his team's struggling season. After suffering a turf toe injury nearly 2 months ago, Burrow returned to practice on Monday, sparking speculation about whether he'll be allowed to play again this season. The Bengals are currently 3-6, with a dismal defense that's ranked worst in the NFL. With a tough 5-game stretch ahead, including a matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers this Sunday, it's unclear whether Burrow's return would make a significant difference in the team's fortunes. Moreover, there are concerns about risking another major injury to their star quarterback, especially given his history of surgery requiring injuries. Columnist Jason Williams raises an intriguing question. Will the Bengals' decision-makers prioritize Burrow's desire to play over the long-term interests of the franchise? With Burrow's internal influence growing stronger since the team's Super Bowl run, it's possible that he may have a significant say in the matter. However, the front office must also consider the potential risks and consequences of rushing him back onto the field. As Williams notes, the Bengals' defense needs a total rebuild, which can't be accomplished in one offseason. This raises questions about the team's ability to compete for a Super Bowl championship, even with Burrow at the helm. The window for success appears to be closing, and it's uncertain how long Burrow will remain patient with the team's lack of progress. The dynamics between Burrow and the Bengals front office are complex, with ownership having shown a willingness to accommodate his wishes in the past. The signing of wide receiver T. Higgins to a 4-year, $115 million contract last offseason is a prime example of this. However, it remains to be seen whether the team will prioritize Burrow's desire to play over the potential risks and consequences. This is a developing story that will continue to follow in the coming weeks. The tension between Burrow's competitive drive and the team's long-term interests raises important questions about player safety, franchise management, and the delicate balance between winning now and building for the future. We'll be right back with more fascinating sports news on Howard's Opinion. Welcome back to Howard's Opinion, folks. We're diving into the world of football now, and I've got a story that's been making waves in the NFL. The Pittsburgh Steelers, once looking like a dominant force, have hit a rough patch, losing 3 of their last 4 games. And at the center of it all is none other than Aaron Rodgers, the 4-time NFL MVP, who was supposed to be the steady hand guiding this team back to prosperity. Now, I know what you're thinking. What's going on with Rodgers? He's 41 years old, but he's still got the arm, still got the smarts. But against the Chargers, he struggled mightily, unable to complete a pass under pressure and taking 3 sacks. And let me tell you, folks, when you're facing a defense as disciplined as Jim Harbaugh's Chargers, you can't afford to make mistakes like that. The numbers don't lie. Rodgers is 18th in the league in passing yards, 13th in passer rating, and tied for 6th in interceptions. Those are not the numbers we expect from a quarterback of his caliber. And it's not just him. The Steelers' offense as a whole has been inconsistent, unable to find a rhythm and make big plays when it counts. But here's the thing. Rodgers is still confident. He believes there's a path back to prosperity for the Steelers, and he's taking it upon himself to lead the charge. "I expect to play great every week," he said, "and this was not my best performance. I've got to play better than this for us to win." That's the kind of leadership you want from your quarterback, folks. Now, the Steelers still have a tough road ahead of them. 2 games against the Ravens, 3 of their next 6 against teams with winning records. But if Rodgers can turn it around, if he can find his groove and lead this team to some big wins, they might just be able to reclaim their spot atop the AFC North. And that's where we'll leave it for now, folks. The Steelers' season is far from over, and with Aaron Rodgers at the helm, you can never count them out. Welcome back to the closing segment of Howard's Opinion. As we delve into the world of baseball, a fascinating narrative is unfolding in Atlanta. The Braves, fresh from their postseason endeavors, are contemplating their next moves, particularly with regards to Ozzie Albies and the second base position. Albies, a stalwart for the team but plagued by injuries, has been given another chance to prove his worth, courtesy of the club option being picked up for the upcoming season. However, the Braves front office, led by the astute Alex Anthopoulos, is not resting on its laurels. They are already exploring potential exit strategies, should Albies fail to regain his form or succumb to another injury. One intriguing option being floated is the signing of Bo Bichette, a two-time All-Star with World Series experience under his belt. Bichette's offensive prowess is undeniable, but his defensive capabilities have raised eyebrows. The plan could be to utilize him at shortstop initially, and then transition him to second base once Albies' tenure comes to an end. This maneuver highlights the complex chess game that is off-season baseball strategy. On one hand, the Braves are looking to solidify their infield with a proven performer in Bichette despite his defensive shortcomings. On the other hand, they are hedging their bets against Albies' potential decline or absence due to injury. It's a delicate balance between short-term needs and long-term planning. The narrative also underscores the perpetual issue of finding the right middle infield combination, a challenge the Braves have faced in recent years. If Bichette were to join the team, it could potentially address this concern for at least the next season, offering a strong bat and, hopefully, sufficient defense to complement the existing roster. As we consider these moves, it's essential to recognize the broader context of baseball's free agency landscape. The figures being discussed, $109 million for Bichette, for instance, are staggering, reflecting both the financial might of MLB and the high stakes involved in assembling a competitive team. In conclusion, the Atlanta Braves' potential pursuit of Bo Bichette represents a nuanced exploration of the team's future, blending immediate needs with strategic planning. As baseball fans, we are treated to a constant drama of player movements, contract negotiations, and the endless quest for championship glory. That's all for today's Howard's Opinion. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, keep your head in the game.